Hello, everyone. I am Laura Chekuratova, and today I'm introducing to you the young pianist Elliot Wuu, who is going to be featured in our upcoming Valentine Piano Extravaganza, which will be streamed on the Violin channel and on YouTube on February 16. How are you, Elliot?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for inviting me over.
It's great to see you. Yes, these days we meet mostly on Zoom, but we had a great opportunity to present you virtually from the home of one of our board members, Daniel Kim, who has a beautiful grand piano and large space where we actually sometimes have our salon concerts. We've had a salon concert there last year before the pandemic, and he has a 9-foot Steinway grand. And you're a
Absolutely.
Steinway. You're a young Steinway artist. So, how did you like that piano that you played on?
It was great. To be honest, ever since I got to New York, I've been practicing on a electric keyboard every day. So I rarely get the chance to play on an acoustic piano, let alone a 9-foot Steinway Grand. So it was just a magical experience for me. It's just every day. We play, or at least I practice on a keyboard. So just being able to really play on an acoustic piano, I guess it really shows like what we should be really grateful for every day.
Oh goodness, yeah. So why are you practicing on a keyboard? Is Juliet not allowing the practice rooms to be
They
used, or?
are, they are. So we do get allotted 4 to 5 hours of practice time every day at school. Recently I've been a little bit more careful going to school. If I do have something coming up, I would go to school to just at least get a feel for what an actual piano would feel like and sound like. But more day to day, I've been practicing at home. Just to be safe. Around.
Yes. Yes. So it's a safe thing. Yeah, I think some of these keyboards are not too bad. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have something called weighted keys, or they do the job for
they
practice.
definitely do the job. I remember practicing on weighted keyboards a while back, and the technology now is actually quite remarkable. Um, I have been practicing a little bit too much on it, so one of the weighted keys is not weighted anymore. I'll get it fixed soon.
Yeah, you made it into something else, maybe harpsichord.
Yeah, exactly. It feels funny.
Wow. Okay, well, just to finish the introduction, as I mentioned, you're a young Steinway artist. You're also a young Gilmore artist, which is a great distinction. You're only 21 years old, but you have already won a number of competitions, including the Hilton Head competition, which you won when you were 16, and where you performed with the orchestra. You made your debut with the orchestra. You're originally, I think, from San Francisco, or you studied there before Juilliard,
Yeah,
and
so
now you are doing your bachelor's with Robert McDonald. Um,
yeah.
so tell us a little more about your childhood. How old were you when you began, and who were your first teachers in San Francisco?
Yeah. So I'm actually born and raised in Fremont, which is around like 40 minutes from San Francisco. And fun fact, I actually started cello when I was 5, so that was actually my first instrument.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to learn the cello because I saw Yo-Yo Ma perform in a concert. My parents really wanted me to see a live concert for the first time, so they actually bought me tickets to see Yo-Yo Ma, and I had front row seats and everything. And I was just so amazed at the instrument and the sound that it could create. So I asked my parents if I could learn a cello, and they got me this really quarter-sized cello. I think even now it probably looks like a bigger viola. It's so small. Um, and then I really loved the cello. My older sister, who's around 5 to 6 years older than me, she started the piano uh, way when I was a baby. So I listened to her practice a lot when I was ever since I was in the world. So I really viewed her as a role model. So I really wanted to learn piano as well because I just really wanted to be just like her. So I asked my parents if I could learn piano as well, and they said, yeah, we could just try it out. Um, And then around 6, I just really couldn't handle practicing both instruments. So I ended up choosing with piano because I just felt like I really gravitated with the piano a lot more. I think it also was because of my sister because she was an amazing pianist. So I really just wanted to be like her. Um,
Ah,
yeah. So
so today, if you grab a cello, will you be able to make a few sounds on it, like a Suzuki tune or something?
you know, probably not. I think I forgot most of it, if not everything. I remember coming to Juilliard for the first 2 years, and I would just ask my cello friends if I could just touch it for a second just to see if I could remember anything. I think the only thing I remember is the bowhode, but all the techniques with the cello playing itself, I completely forgot.
Yeah, well, it's been a while, and probably 1 year is very little when it comes to music education.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, and it's the concept is very different when you're learning the cello from when you're learning a keyboard instrument. And of course, our instrument has so many modes of expression. And I love
Right.
also the fact that we have also a huge repertoire. And you're touching some of that huge repertoire in your performance for the salon. I can't wait to talk to you about the Bach piece that you're playing, which is quite unusual, not unusual, but perhaps not played as much, right? I
Exactly.
personally, I have to admit, I did not know this piece. It's called Capriccio on the Departure of a Beloved Brother,
Right.
in B flat minor.
Major.
Major. Okay, so which Bach wrote when he was only 19, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's what I read online briefly before this. So tell me a little more about this piece. Is it played a lot these days, or is it something you
Definitely
just kind of like?
not. Definitely not. I actually heard this piece not long ago. It was my probably junior year or senior year of high school. I went to the San Francisco pre-college before coming to Juilliard in New York. And Leon Fleischer, who unfortunately passed away last year, was actually giving a master class, and I was in the audience. And one of the college students at the conservatory played this piece. I've never heard it before, um, and I thought it was just the most beautiful piece. And I really didn't think it was Bach because I didn't think emotional music plus Bach really mixed together that well. So at first I didn't think it was Bach until I looked at the program. And I was really surprised to hear that it was Bach. But during the master class, Mr. Fleischer played so many excerpts that are so memorable. It's just like, and I'm sure if you ask any musician, I'm sure they have bits and pieces of concerts or other people playing repertoire that are just stuck in their mind forever. And Mr. Fleischer's like masterclass of that piece is really stuck and ingrained in me. So then after that masterclass, I promised myself that one day when I'm a little bit more mature and I'm able to, I would learn the piece and perform it. So that's what I did. Yeah, so this year I started working on the piece because I it just never left my mind. It was always in the back burner. Um, and yeah, this piece, like you said, he wrote when he was 19, which is unusual because we get a really rare glimpse of his teenage years. It's when he's a little bit more naive, not as mature as a composer, but you can see a lot of what's going on inside his emotional state. Um, the story is actually quite simple. His beloved brother is leaving to work as a court musician, so he's going to be an oboist for the Swedish king, and he announces this journey to Bach and his friends. And this whole suite has six very short movements. It's unlike like any of his French or English suites, which are all Baroque suites. So these were not dance suites. These actually were solely to do with the whole story of it. So because each movement has its own individual part to the story that Bach wrote himself, it's actually the only program music that he wrote for the solo keyboard, which is very special. Um, and you can see like from there's a whole overarching factor in this whole entire piece. In the beginning, the first movement, you see his brother announcing the journey, and Bach and his friends are very, very excited for him and this new opportunity for him to leave home and to work uh, for the Swedish king. But you can also tell there's a sense of hidden bittersweetness that is he's devastated that his brother's leaving home. So in the second and third movements, you also see a very different change in texture and emotions. You can see the second movement is kind of like a fuguetta where the subject keeps overlapping, it's unrelenting, it doesn't let go, so it keeps overlapping and doesn't develop. And I think that itself can kind of signify that Bach and his friends are telling him, oh, don't be so worried about the journey, please be safe, please exercise, please eat, you know, please make sure that you're healthy. And then the third movement, I think, is where you can hear his worry kind of develop. It's a passacaglia, so there's variations, and you can see through each variation how he gets more and more worried until it's kind of broken down into just pure, I think, it's melancholy, basically. And then the remaining three movements, it changes back into, I guess, some sort of optimism that he will enjoy his time and through this new journey in life. The final two movements is actually based on the postman, the coachman. So the aria of the coachman is basically, I guess you can imagine that he's just singing or whistling a tune as he waits for the brother to go on to this coach. Um, and then you can also hear like the horses and the nature singing along with the coachman. So this is quite a very beautiful uh, scene to really hear. And it's just basically just to signify that Bach and his friends are really just giving their final blessing for him to go and wishes him all the best.
Hmm. Yeah. So thinking about those days, people just didn't travel as much. So going from Germany to Sweden was something that you just did once you moved, and that was that. You know, the return was probably not very likely. So I can't wait to hear that piece. And also, it seems like your whole program has these programmatic themes in it. You are also playing a Chopin ballad, fourth ballad, which is again inspired by literally ballads. And have you played all the Chopin ballads, or are you
It's
focusing?
actually my first one. I
Yeah,
don't I should have delved into the deep end, but I really during COVID, I really wanted to just work on something that I've always wanted to work on. So the fourth ballad was always number one in my list. So yeah, I decided to just conquer it and see if what I could bring out of it.
fantastic. Yeah, that's probably one of the most challenging of the ballads, and very polyphonic too. And so that's a good connection to Bach as well.
Exactly.
Um, and you're ending with Il Joyeuse by Debussy, which is really a marvelous, delightful piece. Can you say a few words about it and how long you've been playing it? And
Yeah. So the WC is actually my newest work. I actually worked on it this school year, and around October-ish I started learning the piece. This piece, I heard my studio mates have been playing a studio class, and it's also a work that I just always wanted to play. It's quite an action-packed 6 minutes. If I you gotta ask me, I've always adored Debussy's work and his writing. Every single year, I try to work at least one from his piano literature. Um, but yeah, Lee uses The Island of Joy. It's based on a painting. Basically, the painting depicts uh, like these travelers leaving the island where the birthplace of Venus was. So you can see there's like cupids in the background, lot of very great nature scenery. Um, so you want to basically when I play this piece, I really want to capture this like mysterioso plus magical mythical scene that the picture really depicts so well. Um, and you just want to be as imaginative as possible. There's so much going on, but it's just full of joy and so much content. and you just want to just express it as much as possible.
And that ties in with our Valentine theme, having the cupids and the excitement of the lovely music. Fantastic. So before I let you go, I want to wish you all the best during these crazy times. I'm glad you're continuing to practice and to study. Any exciting plans for the future after the pandemic?
You know, I all the concerts that I have been planning to do are still TBA. It really depends on how the whole year pans out. I think everyone is around the same in the same area. We're just seeing how each month to month goes. But I am planning to play uh, a concerto, probably Chopin's first concerto, in around the April May time of this year in Michigan. So that's something that I'm looking forward to if everything goes well. But yeah,
So this year, 2021.
correct.
Oh, good luck. Do you think that will be with an audience or live streamed or
I'm not so sure yet.
how
I,
the things?
I
Yeah.
it might be 2022. I'm not. I think it could be 2022. But
Good
yeah,
thing to be ready though. It's
yeah,
great that you're ready to go now or next year. Yeah, because I'm not sure if the orchestras have audiences. Yeah, I know in Europe they have a little bit of
Europe
audience,
they
maybe
do.
like yeah, and it depends. It goes up and down, depends on the numbers and so on. Great. Well, we will be following you. And again, the concert will stream on February 16 at 7 p.m. You can watch it on Facebook, Salon de Virtuosi or Violin Channel. You can also watch it on YouTube, right here where you're watching this interview. This is the Salon de Virtuosi's YouTube. Thank you so much, Elliot Woo. It was lovely talking to you and getting to know you. And we look forward to the concert.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.